All right, we are preparing to go live. It takes a moment.
Mhm.
All right, we are live. Good evening, everyone. It's your girl, Tracy L. James, and I am popping on today to have a quick chat with my girl, the leadership lady. Yes, the one and only Ashley M. Martin. We're going to be talking tonight about our upcoming women's retreat that's going to be in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Ashley, I don't know about you. You
Hey,
ready,
girl.
girl?
I am. I'm so ready. I'm like, is it November yet? No, not yet.
Oh man, I am
I'm excited.
so ready to get to San Juan so we can rejuvenate ourselves and our businesses. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this event, and I actually got the idea for the event back in 2019. And it was just because I had been through so much dealing with my business, dealing with my mom, my son, and just all the pressures just got to me. And I realized I wasn't taking care of me. And I wasn't taking my own advice. I tell my clients, schedule time for you, take that vacation, do these things. But I wasn't doing them. I was being a hypocrite, y'all. So one of the things I wanted to do was create a space for women to be able to step away from those roles and step into being able to be the rejuvenated woman so that they can better take care of their families and their business. So, Ashley, I know I reached out to you about being a part of this event. Why did you decide to come on this with me?
Well, for several reasons. One, we've worked on some things together before, and it's always been a pleasant, meaningful, impactful experience. So it's hard to tell you no. Secondly, what you just said, like stepping back and creating time and creating space to step back and to breathe is extremely important, for not just for us, but for so many people who probably are watching too. Just you're about your business, and you're about your business, you're about your family, you're about your relationships, all of those things. But all of those things can at some point come together and sometimes weigh on you. So we have to intentionally unpack our bags, like what we do in Puerto Rico, and just step back and move stuff.
Absolutely. One of the things that I saw, I took my trip to Puerto Rico back in February to view the different resort options and look at restaurants and all of these things. And one thing I realized, even though it was a very short trip, it was nice to just step away. I wasn't mom, I wasn't daughter. And even though I was there on business, me and Key had some fun. On the beach, checking out the different restaurants and just really enjoying in that moment, just being in the moment and not thinking about next week, next month. And sometimes it's hard to do that when you're in town. That's why it's really good to get away. And that's one of the reasons I selected to go to San Juan, is because it gets us away. You're in a different time zone, you're on an island.
You're so bad. Different environment.
And so what is your plan for what you want to share with the ladies that attend the retreat?
Oh, there's so much. There's so much that can be shared. But while we're there, we're going to be talking about going from this is me to this is us. And so sharing with the ladies who will attend, like some keys for effective team leadership. It is different when you are leading yourself and you're working or maybe operating just by yourself. It's a totally different ball game when you bring on a team. You know, totally different mindset and skill set you have to tap into. Not that you leave the other stuff away, but it's a different skill set that you have to tap into to effectively make sure that your team's needs are getting met, your needs are getting met, and the needs of your business, your company, wherever it applies, they're getting met. So we'll be talking about some keys that'll help you shift into from this is me to this is us.
I love that. I love that, because I know one of the things that is always important when you're making that shift from being that solopreneur to hiring your first team is understanding that you have to have a clear process and procedure in place, but you also have to be open to the fact that somebody else might see it from a different perspective and find a better and more effective and efficient way to do it. And you got to be open
Right.
to that. There's a skill set to that.
You hit the nail on the head. It takes a lot of humility to recognize, hey, I can't do all of this myself. So you have to start there. And knowing you can't do everything yourself. If you want to grow, I'll put it like that. If you want to grow, there are some people, they are intentionally small and it's intentionally just them and they're doing fine. But if you want to get to that point to where you're ready to grow to the next phase and the next level of whatever, it's going to require some additional eyes, some additional hands, some additional brains, right? Because just what you said, we see certain things a particular way, but there are other people that may see different angles of that same thing. And so that's how you go to the next level. That's how you grow. And when you bring on other people who perhaps, they're stronger in areas where you're not as strong, and they can do things better in that particular area. But it takes some shifting in your mindset first. And then there's some practical things that I'll share with you that you can do.
Yeah. One of the things that I absolutely love about the work that you do is truly beyond that space of just do A, B, C, D in this order and you will get this result. It's truly about gaining an understanding of who you are as a leader. Mm-hmm. And what will work better for you. I absolutely love that about your process, which was one of the reasons I wanted Ashley to be a part of this retreat, because it can be so difficult to make the transition and really grow your business and stop wearing all the different hats in your business. So I know, Ashley, at one time you and I talked about the importance of emotional intelligence. Mm-hmm. Can you share a little bit of that?
Oh, especially right now, it's important. Where do I even start? Just your emotional intelligence, what it is. Right? Understanding what you're feeling. I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as possible. It runs deep.
Yes.
But understanding what you're feeling and being able to navigate those feelings in a way that leads to a beneficial outcome as opposed to a non-beneficial outcome. Mm-hmm. The next step, and that's for yourself, because there's emotional intelligence that's for you. And then there's emotional intelligence when you're dealing with other people. And so when you're dealing with others, it's how do I take what I know about myself and how I respond and how I react, and how I make sense of the environment around me in any given situation. How do I take that, plus take the emotions of other people and deal with all of that and navigate those to have a beneficial outcome? Not in a manipulative way, right? Not in a sneaky way, but in a way that, again, makes sure that the outcome is beneficial to as many parties as possible. When you are leading a team, when you're leading you, that's important. But when you are leading and working on a team, is extremely important, especially in the environment that we're in. You mentioned 2019 and COVID. We've all been, like, in some way, shape, or form affected by the pandemic, right? Yeah. Let alone other stuff that just comes with just being a human being on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, the I mean, honestly, today, my day started a little bit later than normal because I woke up just feeling weighted and heavy, you know, with mass shootings happening, um, with people still dying from COVID, with all the shifts and changes that are happening with our Supreme Court and women's reproductive rights. And, at this point in my life, that's my past in respect to the whole process of having a baby. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus. I've had my children, but when I think about my granddaughters, this is not the kind of world I want them to grow up in.
Wow.
My grandsons, I don't want them to work in this kind of world, but it's the reality in which we're living in right now. And your business is still happening. Your business is still going on. You can't press pause on your business because of all these outside things. You still have to continue to work and progress. And so, but you have to learn the skills to be able to do that and take care of your team and your business in the process. Because I think a lot of people feel like it's an either or. Well, if I'm taking care of my people, then my business is going to suffer. But it's actually the exact opposite.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, and I'm with you on that. Waking up today, starting the day off a little different than normal. Didn't realize the impact that would have, but it did, and you can feel it. And I think if you're a leader, and you have a team, you have to be cognizant of different things that may affect people that you work with, which does not mean that you don't have a level of accountability, right? But having a heart, especially right now, is important. And knowing that there are things that are happening in people's lives that impact their work is extremely important. And you have to know how to navigate that. We're all for, I'm on team, like, let's reach the goal, let's hit the bottom line, all of that. But I'm also on team, let's love and develop and appreciate and value people. Because without people, things wouldn't get done.
Right. And I think a lot of times people see their teams as disposable. Well, I can just get somebody else in here. And I've heard people say this. Oh, well, they're not irreplaceable. I mean, but I'm sitting here going, but this is the thing. Are they doing a good job? Overall, are they performing at the level you need them to perform to accomplish the goals you've set? I get it. I know that there's a small minority of people out there who will take advantage of the fact that you're compassionate. But again, it goes back to what you were saying about having accountability. While, okay, I'm going to understand it. Hey, it was a tough weekend. Today is probably a little tough. We're probably moving a little bit slower, but look, the deadline is still the deadline. I need you to take a breath. I need you to process what you need to process, but I need you to get moving on this because hey, the deadline's tomorrow. We still got to get this done.
Right. And you provide the support that's needed, So it's not to say like, oh, you're not so much a jail out of free, out of jail card, but that you're on Skate Street is not saying that, but it's saying like, hey, we're going to support you. We understand this is affecting your mood. This is affecting your emotions. This is affecting your mind. It's affecting your life, but we'll work through this to still reach the due date, to still, hit the goal. So it's just taking all that into consideration. And that in and of itself is something that is sometimes learned that does not come naturally to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So with all of that, and as we are preparing for November, what is one thing you want women who are on the fence about whether is this retreat right for me? What am I going to get out of it? What is something you'd like to share with them concerning the retreat?
If you feel very strongly, you feel it in your gut that you need to be there, do what you can to get there. Don't take that feeling lightly. Because sometimes there are things that have been set aside in time and in history for us, people we should meet, things we should grasp, things we need to learn, places we need to go. So do what you can to be there. Do what you can to be there. Sometimes, we're like, well, I'll go next year. I'll go on the next retreat. This whole pandemic is evidence that we don't know. Well, you don't know when the next one's going to be, or if there's going to be a next one, or maybe going somewhere else, So if you feel very strongly in your gut that you need to be there, or you get a little light bulb, like, hey, I should probably go into that. Check the speakers out. There, check everybody out and make the decision and do what you can to get there, because it's something you don't want to miss. It's something you don't want to miss.
Absolutely, because I'm going to tell you, I have not finalized what 2023 is going to be. I'm not sure if we're going to go back to Puerto Rico. We may go somewhere else. But what I do know is this: if you choose to join us in November, you will come back better. You will come back refreshed, and you will come back with a clear plan for how to maintain that level of rejuvenation. So you're doing what Dr. Shana says and filling your cup so you can give from your overflow. And trust me, when I figured that out and when I'm focused and intentional on that, everything goes much easier. I'm not saying I don't have trials and tribulations and issues, but I have the energy and the creativity to deal with those things because I took the time for Tracy.
Right.
Yeah. And so as business women, it is so important for us to take time for ourselves. And I'm just going to say this: if you missed Ashley Martin, I'm telling you, you and your team are missing out on something amazing, because she's going to help you take your team to the next level. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So if you have any questions and you catch this on the replay, please put them in the comments. Ashley and I will be glad to answer those for you. And let's see here. I can't see whether there's anybody in the comments or not. So that's the only thing about going live through Zoom. Sometimes you cannot see the chat. So if you've asked a question, we will gladly answer that question after we jump off here. But we want to thank you for taking the time to connect with us live. And I hope that this helped you be able to make a decision about joining us November 10th through the 14th in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So any final words, Ashley?
Oh, to see you in Puerto Rico. I'm ready to help you get shifted and, do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Hope to see you there.
All right, y'all. We will take care. Y'all take care. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.